Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be doing an overview and tutorial for SmartMod version 20. I'll be going over the various features of the mod and some of the things that you can do with it. If you want to skip to a specific part or feature, I've put in timestamps down in the description below. There's a lot to cover here, so let's get started. But first, we have to ask, what is Smart? Simply put, Smart is a vanilla plus mod. It uses vanilla mechanics to help you build things faster. It doesn't add anything to the game, just modifies the tools that you use to build bigger things faster. So if you remove Smart Mod, you don't lose anything. Now, let's dive in. First things first, installation. Let me bring up my Satisfactory mod manager so I can show you what I'm talking about. If you're just starting out with Smart, just download the mod and you're good. Make sure you're on Satisfactory Mod Loader SML version 3.4.0. Same with if you've had it before. Make sure you've updated to mod loader, the Satisfactory mod loader version 3.4.0, but make sure that you are on latest so that you are actually running the latest version of the mod. Version 20.0.558 is current as of this video. And as far as installation goes, that's all there is. So let's hop back over here to the game. And as you can see, I do have a keyboard, an on-screen keyboard overlay so I can show you things. Next, though, I'll cover keybinds. Getting into that. To gain access to the keybind menu, you can hit slash, or now with the latest version of Smart, the hyphen key also works to bring up the in-game menu, and you click on this button over here to go into the key map. I've reset all my key bindings back to default for this video, so I'm not giving you conflicting what I'm saying with what I'm actually pressing on the keyboard. Another way you can access the keybinds is with the shift and slash, or alternatively shift and hyphen. Both methods work. If you're still having issues getting into the menu, you can change the menu key in the config file for Smart. I'll leave a sample location of that file location down in the description below. Now on to the features of Smart. First up is scaling. This feature is what Zoop was based off of. This lets you build huge platforms, walls, production lines in seconds instead of minutes. Let me show you what I mean. While Zoop you can place up to a line of 10, Smart makes it so much better. Because with Smart, you can take that single line now out to 20. Or, if you're building with walls, you can do not just a line of 20, but an entire wall of 20 by 20. all at once in a single click. I don't know why you'd want to build a 20 by 20 wall, but you can do it. But that's just the Smart Plus Zoop. Scaling lets you do a lot more. Scaling, you can go out as far as you want. Actually, let me grab a foundation here. Hop over to the other side. I'll show you. You can take this all the way out as far as you would like, but not just in a single direction. You hold the alternative key, the alternate action key, and you can now do huge platforms. And as you can see, I'm starting to see a little bit of a performance hit here. Things are kind of slowing down. But if you hold both the primary and secondary action keys, you can then go in all three axes at once. And that is really starting to hurt my frame rate. Oh. So, building extremely large things all at once can be a hindrance to performance. But by that point, yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. So keeping things to a reasonable platform size is suggested, but not necessary. All depends on your system. Another feature that works hand in hand with scaling is spacing. With spacing, we can run out a line of them here, hold the P key, and put spaces in. Foundations, not really all that useful. However, with splitters, I said splitters, actually, let me come over here. With the splitters, see, they don't really stay, they're not really spaced out properly to line up with the machines, as you can see. But you hold P, space them out, and now they line up. And you have that little counter up there to let you know when you're where your spacing is, to know if you want to remember what machines take what kind of spacing, so you don't have to guess every single time. There you go. Not only works with just splitters and machines, foundations, works with pretty much everything. Have a mess around with it and see what you can do with it. Now, by default, when you download the mod, spacing is by default on X and Y axes simultaneously. What that does is, if you're actually building like this and you hold P, space them out, it moves both the X and Y axis at the same time. You don't want it to do that. You only want to do one axis. You can go into the menu and change that to just the X axis. However, by doing it that way, if you now hold P, that's spacing them in that fashion. But that's not going to help you very much. It may, but you want to space them out in a different axis. Let me pull this back here real quick. Well, you want to change what axis you're working with, hold the P key and then up or down on the arrow keys. And that'll cycle through all the different axis options. So with X, you can go that way. Y, you can go that way. Z would be your vertical, which you really want to go in that direction, you can. Looks kind of funky, but if you know you're spacing up to your next floor and you're doing the exact same thing up there, that's something you could do with that. With that, we can jump into our next feature, Auto Connect. Auto Connect, we have a few options here again in the menu. We have the main belt and level, defaults to auto max unlocked. What that option is for, oops, let me bring up a 7. There we go. That is this belt in between the two poles. Is the main belt. With the belts with it set to auto max unlocked, excuse me, it'll put down whatever belt is the highest you have available. You can set it to be a specific one, which is great. Same with the pipe level, between poles or junctions. That is saying max unlocked, Mark 1 or Mark 2. Next up, you have two building belt and lift level. Based on recipe is a new option here. Again, auto max unlocked, as well as Mark 1 through 5. But you also have auto max unlocked -1, -2, or -3. So you could have, say you got Mark 5 unlocked. You set this to max unlocked -3, and every belt built from a splitter or merger to a machine will be 3 levels below Mark 5, therefore being a Mark 2 belt. Could be useful. All depends on what you're trying to do. But that option is there. Same with the pipe levels, although all you've got is max unlock based on recipe and Mark 1 and Mark 2. Now we got a couple of check boxes here. Enable auto connect between splitters, mergers, poles. This is your main line as up here. You can check that or uncheck it if you don't want any belts built in that direction. I like to leave it checked. Enable auto connect to buildings. Again, that's these two options here. I like to leave that one checked myself. Auto connect set space, level, and offset. Let me show you what this does here. Grab this real quick. Whoa, whoopsie, out of power. Works best with, oh wait, a couple of these. Grab one. Right now, there. And go out this way. What this setting does is automatically sets the spacing between machines as well as if multiple outputs. All right, that's it. I need power over here. Okay, let's try this again. With this one active, set to always, it'll always space things out correctly for the machine that the splitter is being placed in front of. I don't know why it does it like this now. It's done this with the version 20 update. It used to do it a little differently. I'd like the other way better. Okay, thank you, autosave. I liked how it did back in version 18 and 19. It would actually offset the splitters from each other, so the top line was a straight into the machine. But with always selected, you cannot adjust what your spacing is going to be. However, you can change that from always to once, and now you can at least do you can change the spacing out. Change the spacing in that direction and in that direction. But again, it's not doing it the way it used to. If it did, that would be great. I just don't know why it's not doing that. Might be something that needs to be fixed. Or you can set it to the third option, never, and now it will not automatically space things out. Now you have to do it yourself by holding P and lining it up. So that's that part of the auto connect feature. I usually have it set to once unless dealing with multi inputs. Then you have a few more options down here, which is auto connect, enable recipe copy from the first building. This one, I really like this one. Let me see here. Oh, already got a recipe in those ones. All right, Control C. Just copying some blanket recipe here so I can demonstrate this. Now that we have a empty machine, let's set a recipe. Let me go ahead and use the iron rod recipe again. Grab a splitter. Place this back here behind the machine with the auto connect feature. We've got it auto spreading things out for us here. So put those in. Auto connect is done. And there we go. We had the iron rod recipe set in this machine, and it has copied it to every other machine that we have connected to. As you can see, this one hasn't been set because it hasn't been connected to. That is a very useful little piece of that feature. As I'm sure you have noticed, this camera popping up here in the upper left corner of the screen. That is a wonderful little thing. Let me get it on one here that kind of demonstrates this a little bit easier. Actually, let's do it with this here. Go out this way and see where that's actually showing you. You can easily line it up. It's a lot easier to see it that way. And then you can also go out in this direction. But now you really can't see all that well. Well, you have two keys you can use to adjust the camera. The left bracket, which is this one here, will change the angle of the camera, flip it around to various different positions, depending on where you're at. And you can also hold the right bracket and zoom. Although okay. Depending on which camera you're in, determines what way it's zooming. And every time you change the camera, it resets the zoom. Why this works in a vertical fashion, I don't know. And that one just has you looking straight up, but can be useful, I guess. I haven't really messed around with the camera too much, but like I said, there it is. However, the only time this can't be done in this fashion is if you're working with lifts. The lift always faces wherever direction the lift is pointing, and unfortunately you cannot zoom the camera with the lift. That would be useful. And speaking of lifts, they have a feature of their own as well. The lift height counter. As you can see here in the middle of the screen, the top number is the height of the lift itself, from one end to the other. That is a 4-meter lift, and it goes up accordingly. The lower number is height above 0 according to the world grid. I would say height above ground level, but that's not exactly true, because over here, being right on the ground, right here, 104 meters. Out here, 104 meters. It is all based off of the world grid. Oh, that was just taking it from wherever it was last put. So you do have to place it down first, but that shows you the height of the end that you're manipulating. So this is a good way to find out how far a lift can actually go. You're at 69 up to 113. I'm not overly concerned about it, but if you want to do the math, you can find out the maximum reach of your lifts that way. But that's the lift height counter for you. It's really handy if you're trying to say, here, have this one coming up this way. Now you want to get a lift from, come on, down there, all the way up to here. Well, there you go. It's not exactly level, but just about as level as you're going to get. So that's the lift height feature. Up next is the extend feature. This one has a few more options in the menu here. First off, just a simple on-off toggle to enable extend. Simple enough. I'm going to skip this one for now. Enable copy recipe from the building. Similar to the extend copy recipe, this will copy the recipe of the building that you're targeting. You can see extending from that building, it'll copy that recipe. Next is enable belts, splitters, mergers to be copied. Let me uncheck that real quick just to show you. If you're trying to extend, but you don't want to copy your current logistics system, have that unchecked. If you do want to copy your current logistics system because you're actually extending the whole production line, have it checked, and it will automatically connect both the inputs and the outputs if you have them set up. I forgot to redo that one. And that will copy everything for you. And then, so you got a recipe set, and that's the first time we've looked at that building. Now this third option that I skipped is the two building extend belt and pipe and lift logic. What this is, you can set it to follow normal logic or copy levels from existing items. Let me go over this one first. Copy levels from existing items. So say if we make all this Mark III, and then we do an extend, and as you can see, it has copied everything over exactly. The same lift levels and belt levels as the machine next to it. Now, if you have it set to follow normal logic, what this is what you have this set to. Your auto connect settings. Auto max unlocked for the main lines, and then auto based on recipe for the belts and lifts connecting between the merger, between the splitters and mergers to the machine. Which, we do that real quick. We have the Mark I and Mark II respectively. At least I hope that is consistent. Mark I, Mark II, Mark I belt, Mark II lift, Mark I belt, Mark II lift. Yes. So this is the right hand input, the first input that is connected, left-hand input or second input to be connected. And it automatically sets it up. Because 120 per minute will not fit on a Mark 1 belt or lift. So the lift is Mark 2 for the screws. The belt only needs 20 per minute, so it's a Mark 1 for the iron rod. That covers the extend feature. Up next, we have the restore feature, which the restore feature is something I hadn't even known about. But this, you can kind of save blueprints. Kinda. You can only do it with one building object at a time. Say here with foundations. You want to do something silly here. We'll go out, do a 5 by 5 by 5. Just work with me here. Just a demonstration. Now, you can set your spacing. Go out here 2 in this direction. Say 3 in that direction. And then 4 in that direction. Now you have this weird bunch of floating foundations. Before you build it, hold both the primary and secondary action keys, in this case Shift and Z, and then hit a number at the top of the keyboard. That should have saved that, and then you can get rid of it. Now you bring up foundations again, hit 1. Oops. No. Sorry. You don't just hit 1. You hit the secondary action key and the number, and that brings back exactly what you had done previously. Now, it doesn't matter what you're trying to build. So let's bring up a wall. Now we do the same thing. It is now the exact same thing. A 5 by 5 by 5 with a 2, 3, 4 spacing. Let's go to a smelter. Again, Z1. And again, as you can see, kind of hard to get it all on here. All in frame, I should say. Yeah, it's just too big for that one. But as you can see, it has the same exact parameters. What you can do, something I was thinking of when I found out about this feature, do a 20 by 20. So that's 400 foundations. But then also we're going to go down 1. We have 2 floors now. And then going to do the spacing on, the Z axis. Is going to push that down. Let's drop it, say, 16 meters for reasons. Then we can do just put that on 2 for a second. And then we can get rid of that. And then we can come over here. Use, no, frames. I want the 16 by 16 wall. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go like this real quick. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. H. And let's get the spacing. Need to be on the Y spacing, that's right. There we go. And then we can space this out here. Yep, that's what I thought. 10. And then, oops, 3. And then onto the demonstration. Go Z2. Load that up. Oh. Okay. So now let's try this. Build it in this direction. And as you can see, we have our spacing done that way. Drop down here. Kind of hurts the frame rate building something like that. I'm going to do Z3. Oops. Forgot. I need to go into here. Grab the actual thing I want. Then we can go Z3. Change that. And now you can quickly add the walls. That'll drastically speed up builds. Simple yet effective. Got a standard 20 by 20 platform with a 16-meter spacing, and then putting the walls in corner to corner is nice and simple. Oopsie. Back over here to the power, thank you. But that there is the restore feature. And a couple other little things that I'd like to go over here. Let me bring up the key map again. You have the hold feature, which is very useful. Let me grab one of these real quick. As you can see, you can freely move it around right now. You hit H, now it locks it in place. It won't move. In here, we have an auto hold mode. I leave that checked all the time so that when I am placing things down, when I scale it out and let go, it stays put. It doesn't try to move on me. Same with foundations. As you can see, I gotta look around all I want while I'm holding it, let go, and it stays put. If you don't like it where it's at, you can actually hit the H button to move it, and you can also rotate it. Get it going the way you want it. And once you get it where you want it, hit H again, and then you can look around, move, and make sure that is really where you want it. That is the hold feature. Up next, we have, oh, what was it? Twirl. The T key, which, okay, with twirl. Okay, let's move that over here. Foundations, it just diagonally offsets. Nope. Holding T doesn't do anything like that. All right. And then Oops. Let's see what it does with buildings. T. Okay, it staggers them like so. Less of twirl, more stagger in that orientation. All right, let's try this. Now we do T. It doesn't do anything vertically. All right, that's where I thought twirl would be used. So that's twirl. Another one you've got is levitation. So, oops, move that out here, please. There we go. L. Okay, so you can move it up vertically from wherever you tried placing it. All right. I could find some uses for that. Up next, we have steps. I think I know what I can do with this one. Because if this is what I think it is, I said I'm learning some new things here. Oops. If you have that happen and you don't like that, quick way to get around that one. This is part of the auto connect. I should have included that back there. Just double tap space and it'll get rid of that for this current build. But let's do that. And yes, okay, we're on that. And then steps, which was U. Yes, it was. Unfortunately, if I'm remembering this correctly, yeah, that's just going to keep going up like that every single time. So that's unfortunate. But I can find a use for that. That is the steps. And one more thing to cover here. And that is you can disable the mod without having to exit the game and either pause it in the mod manager or uninstall it. You have disable smart mod completely here, and it toggles it back and forth. But to save yourself a step from having to go in there, you can hold Z and hit the either menu key, either the / or the hyphen. To enable and disable the mod. And as you can see, you get a system message that pops up letting you know you have either disabled or enabled the mod. And with that, we've come to the end. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you found this helpful. If you like this video, please leave it a like. It'll help get it out to more people. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. Or you can pop over to the Smart Discord server. There are a lot of people there that can help you out. You can also drop off bug reports and feature requests there as well. Pop into the bot spam channel and have a look at the pinned comment for a list of bot commands or you can use the bot command !help. Link for the server will be in the description below as well. If you want to stay up to date on other content I'm putting out, please subscribe and smack that notification bell with your handy Fix It Incorporated Xenobasher to be notified when I release another video. And until next time, remember, have fun.